Hello YouTube, and welcome back to the TryCraft server with Kankadia. As you can see, I am not currently in my normal form. I'm actually playing as a Wisp this time. This is because I happen to like the Wisp. It's kind of interesting little thing, and unlike the Bat form, it does not lose. You can see here, one button, button. Which button is it? Ah, there it is. Sorry about that. It is early in the morning, and I have not yet had my coffee. So let's play everyone's favorite game. What have I done already? So here's what I got. As you see before, this is my floating island base, and you see it actually has some buildings on top. But first, let's check out the basement, shall we? So what I've done is basically made 3 layers to the basement, 3 floors, so our sub basements. This is the main, our third sub basement. This is the third sub basement, just a flat grassy area. I like grass because might as well add a little bit of color in here and make it seem a little more natural than the floating block of stone that it is. So this is going to be, I believe, my ThymeCraft area. It might be too big to come to think of it, but I do kind of want to get into ThymeCraft. I'm going to give it the old college try, as they say, and I would like to try and make it halfway decent. So this is going to be a decent area for that, as far as I can tell. I still have a hole here and a hole in here because ender pearls are kind of a rare commodity on the server right now, and I only have the 2 elevators right now. They're in the station. Eventually, I'll need to make another 6 or so. And is that a hole? No, I need to plug a hole. Okay, so the next floor here. This is actually going to be, you can see because this one is much closer to the equator. This one is about a third larger than the third sub basement. And this is going to be my main spawning area. I'm going to put in my auto spawner and also the animal farm in this area. Actually, I'm going to put it right here. And the reason I'm doing that is because I installed a planter approximately there, so that way I can pipe the sewage straight up into the planter and get some fertilization happening up in here. But this part up here is not really a floor exactly; it's more like a loft. And here, let me show you what it is. I put a little staircase here, even though I'm flying most of the time because this thing is kind of derpy, and if I go like that, I will take damage from being too close to the ceiling. So this is a functional, I would say about 10% capacity oreberry farm. Let me show you how it works. So in here, I have torches up because I haven't had time to. Theoretically, I should fill it all in with dirt because all this light does make the oreberries grow a lot slower than they should. So this is the oreberries that I've collected so far. It's about 3 lines, so that's about 75 oreberries because this is a 25 by 25 area. The reason it's 25 by 25 is because that is the maximum capacity of a fully upgraded harvester with an emerald upgrade. Yes, I did actually use emeralds to make the upgrade. Kind of a mistake on my part, I'll be honest, because emeralds are also kind of hard to find on the server. But of all uses for it, I think basically getting free minerals every once in a while is not too bad a use. So what this does is it checks through the entire area. You can see the idols going every once in a while. It does find something. It's basically looking every row to see if it finds something. And when it does, it grabs it and sends it through these nifty conduits. So I've got energy conduit from Ender IO coming down from the solar panels on my eastern module of my base, which we'll get to in a minute. That goes in through an item transfer node from extra utilities through this filter pipe. Originally I was going to use an item filter in the transfer node, but I realized they actually wouldn't do what I wanted to do, which is basically I wanted to bypass one particular item because for most part the ore berries function normally. What you do is you take the ore berry itself, you smelt it in this redstone furnace, and you put it exports to this chest. Then you put it into this thing, an auto packager from the auto packager mod. Useful little RF device. Basically what it does is it auto grabs, as long as it's powered. This is actually powered. It auto grabs stuff from one chest. See, in this case it has these aluminum nuggets. Once it gets 9 of them, it grabs them and exports them to the opposite side where I get free ore. I don't have very much. I'm just gonna let it accumulate for a while. One thing I was interested in is if it would grab from this side once I had 9 of an ingot and make a block, but apparently it hasn't. So I think it is once it figures out which way it's gonna check. One directional as far as I can tell. But the cool thing about this filter pipe is I have it set to take ore berries out of this blue end and leave them here. So these I can just right click on and it gives me XP. So I get free XP and I get free ores. Not too bad a system. And I get, like I said, this is approximately 10% of capacity because I can handle 25 by 25 is approximately 625 ore berries. And I've got maybe 75 in here so far. So I've got a long ways to go. But I think once I get an ender quarry up and do some more caving, I will get this thing up to around 50% capacity in the near future. And it does take a long time, but you know, as I say, it's a small. Oh, it's not small, but this is a long-term technological investment. One thing that's kind of weird. If anyone has the same problem, please let me know what the fix is. For me, I cannot use the favorites in Morph. I've had this problem for a while now. I don't know if it's a conflict of a keys because I can't find the key binding for the Morph favorites. It's usually the tilde, which is the the key right to the left of the 1 on your keyboard. For me, it does not work at all. So I don't know what's wrong with it. If you guys end up to know, leave a comment. I really appreciate it. So all I can do right now is just use the brackets between forms, which it works, but it's really slow considering I basically only use the wisp, the squid, and my vanilla form. Okay, let me head back to human form, and I should probably sleep in my own little bed. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about that. Yeah. So those of you who are observant, you'll happen to notice on the right-hand side our death counter. Killer Bat is way in the lead, but I am in second place. Yeah. Yeah, ran a roguelike. So I had, before I went into the roguelike, I think I had 7 deaths, and I went up to 14. But fortunately, I got what I was aiming for, which are ender pearls. So I'll show you how that ended out in a little bit. So those of you who've seen been on my channel for a while will recognize the design of this place. This is a scaled down, about a 2/3 scale of my quad base. Now the reason is I like it. I really I like the design. It gives me some open areas in the quadrants, and it gives me some inside areas in here. I decided to actually leave some of the grass blocks throughout the middle of this, so it almost looks like a neon green runner. I gotta say, I love this magical forest biome. I love the color of the grass. I mean, I know it's simple, but it really reminds me of the old school colors for grass from the Origin Valley. So this over here, let's talk about this first. This was the reason that I needed to get ender pearls. I made a planter that is right in between these trees. Let me clear this up for you. I made a bloodstone lumber axe. Might as well use it. I love this thing. And it's bloodstone. Bloodwood. So it's a renewable resource that's as strong as iron. I love that. So I got a planter in here. Right now, all it has in it is oak saplings, which is not too bad. But here's the cool part: it is actually connected to this chest. But the cool part is how it's connected. I'm actually running. This is the Ender IO energy conduit from the roof, and we'll show you that in a little bit, the solar panels. But this little green line here is item conduit from Ender IO. This is what I needed the Ender Pearl for. I think I had to use one whole Ender Pearl. Fortunately, it only took one to run an item conduit line from this chest. So this is now an input chest. See, there it goes. And the input chest from here all the way out to the planter. Now I do also need to run an output line once I get a harvester up and running. I'm not going to make a big one actually. I'm thinking about making a small one probably right here because I don't really need that much space. Plus I really wanted to make, I'm thinking this area, see where these torches are? This be the planter, so maybe like a 2 more upgrade. And over here, this L shape over here, I wanted to have several gardens for different things. Just I almost thinking like a wild garden concept, but I'll see how I feel about that once I come to put it together. But I really wanted to do sort of a garden as opposed to just a massive MFR plant like I always have, because I don't really use it. I don't. I mean, I need every once in a while. I need a little bit, but that plus a fertilizer will be more than enough. I'm happy with that situation. So I moved my sag mill, and I actually made an alloy smelter also. I have come to love Ender.io. I freaking love this mod. It's like Tinker's Construct, but Ender based, and you can get so much more results from things. Plus, this stuff with a silk touch like I have on my hammer is amazing. Like for example, I have 8 diamonds. This and these 2 engineering processes, which I'll get to in a minute. These came from 5 ores that I found, 5 diamond ores that I silk touched. You put them in a sag mill, or doubling for diamonds. Now, yeah, I could have made a fortune pick and doubled that way, but that would require much more lapis than I have at the moment. I think lapis generation was nerfed because of all the other ores that are being generated. Oh well. So I also have here, I've got quartz grindstone. I moved that over from the harbor, and I've also got a smelter. You know, I haven't actually used this yet. I think eventually I will. And it's just like a bathroom. You know, every base needs to have a smeltery. Over here, I've got this other stuff that I moved from the base. So I haven't really done a lot in the way of machinery. Most of what I've done has been building, like I built, the basement. But one thing I want to show you is actually kind of cool. This is how I built this place in the first place. Yep, this little block here is the building guide. If you put a redstone lever and press on, it turns on. It gives you ghost blocks, basically, for the shape that you want. In this case, what I have is a 30 diameter, no, a 30 radius sphere. This is how I built it. So this is the hemisphere of this sphere, and what I want to do is perfect. Okay, so that is approximately 30 high. So this is about as high as the bottom of the sphere is deep, and I like that. I definitely want to do something kind of cool with the top of it, but we'll see when I get to it. I'm gonna move this building guide when I get a chance, because I want to make 2 small islands as part of my plan. I'm thinking one out here, about 30 diameter, so about half the size of this. Over here, I'm thinking another one on the other side of this island, and it's similarly situated. The reason is that for some things I really want to have as much capacity as possible, and one of them is going to be Thaumcraft. I want to make a mana bean farm. The reason I'm built in a magical forest, but I also wanted to get into witchery, and witchery really requires a lot of trees around the altar, and it's just not quite enough space if I were to put it on one of these quadrants. It's a lot of space, but I'm almost positive that that witchery altars pick up their energy from natural items, including trees, within a 30 block radius. So it basically be, if I put no 30, no, it's 15. That's it. That was the reason I made a quad in the first place. It's a 15 block radius, or a 30 by 30 cube. So if I put it in the middle of an island, that should hopefully give me enough cover to get a really powerful altar going. If I need to, I'll build the thing out into some weird what do you call it? What was that? Not a paramecium, amoeba, some weird amoeba shape. But I'll come to that when I get a chance. So the other thing I've been working on, and actually the reason I have some of the stuff in my inventory, is because I have had a serious problem with inventory control. If you notice here, I have about 3 times the amount of chests that I had back in the harbor. And this is because these are all full with all the stuff I picked up in the roguelike dungeon, the one that killed me all those times. I've got just everything. I got fire charges. I've got a couple of these logic matrix programmers. I've got name tags. I've got just anything. Oh, he's done recording. It's cool. Anything and everything under the sun you can imagine. I've got it stuffed into corners here. So I really need to get a move on and work on my AE2 system sooner rather than later. So how I'm powering this thing is basically the same way I powered the MFR Fisher. I've got this is the same solar panel level 2 that I had before. I just got hooked up to an energy conduit, hooked up to the lead energy cell. It's just kind of a backup. I really have not. I don't think I've ever drained this thing. This system right here is more than enough to power the two. It's more than enough, as far as I can tell, to power the two Ender IO machines and the planter. This is actually powering the planter too. And now over here, I have another one. I made a second solar panel too. This one, yeah, that's what I figured. Yep, I'm gonna build auto spawner. Yeah, well, once I get my auto spawner built, that should definitely help with the Ender Pearl situation.